Welcome to episode 3 of Fulham Fix with myself, Ivan Berry.
And myself, Felix White.
How you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you, Ivan. Yeah, you good?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah,
Good,
very
good.
good. Always nice to record a pod in the studio, mate. Especially with this view, the view of the cottage in the background.
Exactly.
And look at that pitch.
This will only make sense to people that listen to the last episode, but have you had any correspondence with Steve Malbronk since we last spoke?
Personally, no.
Have you spoken to anyone who have you had correspondence with anyone who's had correspondence with Steve Lamack? Steve Lamack.
I know Steve Lamack quite well.
I've said the word Steve Lamack so many times the last 10 years that just came out. Steve Malbronk.
No.
Right.
Not since my my laughing moment with Burr-Morte when he laughed at the idea that we'd be able to find him.
Right, okay.
No, Steve Malbronk still remains on the run.
Can
I say on the run? I'm not saying he's actually on the run, obviously. I mean, he might be on the run.
He
but
could be on hiding, he could be on the run, or he just could be staying away from football, which
Maybe.
I'd understand. But yeah, anyway.
From what I understand, we're doing a little bit of digging, but what I understand, he was quite a shy person. He didn't do many interviews in the time.
He spoke with his feet.
Is this meaning that, like, even if we did get hold of him, like, and got him on the podcast, that it would be a very tough interview? Would we need a translator? Is what I'm saying.
Well, look, I don't know, because this is what we're doing. We're breaking down Fulham myths on this show, and we've already spoke to Berbatov for a long time.
Yeah,
we thought that he might be slightly aloof about Fulham. It turns out he thinks about it in a beautiful way. He actually envisaged and built the Riverside stand.
Yep.
So you never know with these legends how the clubs live with them. So I'm just saying this is something to explore in the future.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Ivan, Southampton just gone.
Yes.
What strikes me about that is obviously they're in a relegation dogfight and it's looking a bit ominous for them, barring a miracle. You've been at the club doing match announcing over a couple of relegations. Is it, or maybe three? No, two relegations.
Three relegations.
Three relegations.
On the microphone, I only started when we got relegated, but I was at Fulham doing Fulham TV stuff, bits on the camera.
And then two after that.
Yeah.
So you've seen firsthand how that changes, because I'm always fascinated about how it doesn't change a team, a playing squad, but since like knowing people at Fulham, realising, there's people's jobs.
Oh, mate, it was so bizarre. When we first got relegated, it becomes this kind of, it goes straight back to kind of like a basic core, or at least this is what it felt like to me, like a basic core structure. In the Premier League, there is obviously, I mean, everyone knows this, there's so much more money. It's so unique to football in the fact that happens.
Yeah.
It literally can be on the back of one goal or one moment.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's what struck me from those documentaries, like the Sunderland one and stuff, is that the players are sort of emotionally locked in and conscientious of what's going on in the club. There's a lot of responsibility there, isn't it? Because you're actually playing for people's jobs outside of yourself. So if you're kind of aware of that, that's a whole different thing to what people imagine playing football's about, really, isn't it?
Now being sort of one of the clubs that's definitely going to be playing Premier League football next season, do we sort of look at a team like Southampton going down and, maybe possibly Leicester and some big clubs, Everton, and you go, who do we take from that team?
Oh, wow, interesting.
Do you ever do that? Because now more than ever, you sort of go, because a lot of them are going to have to leave because they do. It's the wage bill becomes massive in the Championship, and so you go, which players would you? I'm not saying that we need to name any right now. I'm just saying that it's I remember when Fulham were in those relegation moments, hearing other fans of other clubs going, we'd take that player anytime. And, you hear rumours of clubs coming in for certain people that you love. And, I tell you, the one that hit hardest for me was Joachim Andersen going to Crystal Palace because he was so good for us.
Yeah.
And Alphonse Areola as well.
Wow.
And when we got relegated and people talking about, we should sign a player like that.
First relegations?
No, that was third relegation.
Oh, wow,
that was I recall that the lockdown relegation, so it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
Because no one was there to see it.
Oh, that's okay. So it's part.
Yeah, we went to the Premier League. No one watched it, as in the stadium, and we got relegated.
You weren't.
I was here by myself.
Right, really? Wow.
Literally by myself. I was made to sit in a stand by myself.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy to admit it never happened.
Right, yeah.
So that we just started again in the Championship and absolutely bossed it.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was hearing, teams coming in for players like Alphonse Areola and thinking, don't take him from us. That's going to be really hard. And then, the fact that he's not even really playing first team at West Ham is like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah, you never know, do you? We don't have to worry about that moment. Because
no, we don't.
Got footballers of an extremely high calibre playing for us.
We do.
And part of the good thing about doing...
Hang on, I'm smelling a segue.
Go on and do it if you
No,
want.
you, mate. I want you. You started it.
No, I thought what you were going to do is you was...
Segue.
So we've got some extremely high caliber footballers playing for us. One of the great things about doing Fulham Fixes, we can speak to them. Yeah. So when the club phoned me up and said, "Do you want to do this?" I thought, Berbatov's one, and we thought of current players. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't know in terms of globally, there's a bigger name at this club at the moment in 11 than Willian.
No, I think he's arguably. You think of what he's done, playing for his country, the teams he's played for, Arsenal, the guys up the road, it's he's played for some.
And he's a really interesting case in point of a footballer that's had a sort of re-galvanised different arc in his career, because obviously he won stuff for Chelsea. He definitely won the league at Chelsea. Yeah. I'm not sure if they won the Champions League, but he definitely won the league. Yeah. And then when he went to Arsenal, everyone assumed he was going to be up there winning stuff for Arsenal, and it didn't go great really. And we talk about that diplomatically. Yeah. In the conversation that's about to follow. But then he went back. Where did he go after that? He went
Corinthians.
Then he went to Corinthians, and that didn't work out as well. Yeah. So this reputation surrounded him a little bit, but his best years were really behind him. So when he signed for Fulham, it wasn't met with joy, was it? Not even within the club or outside of it. It was like, it's a big name, but it kind of felt like a player with his years behind him.
It was met with cynicism, I'd say.
A little bit, yeah.
And what's been lovely this season is again, we mentioned, Tim Ream's name in the last pod about possible player of the season. I mean, Willian's got to be right up there as well. He's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the energy that man has. Yeah.
Well, I think the nice thing about this team has been players of Willian's calibre and Pereira as well, who came from Manchester United, them coming to the Cottage and realising, I can own this place, and sort of being freed from that burden and sort of rediscovering themselves. Yeah. And when we've been so brilliant at having Mitra up top and then Bobby, Willian, Pereira, other names as well, be it played around the season, Wilson, Solomon, all those kind of people, those sort of worker-bee flair players around him. That's been basically what this Fulham team's been, hasn't it? The energy of it has come from that. So, I mean, anyway, it was amazing to speak to him. And he's very softly spoken, isn't he? So we weren't sure how softly spoken he was going to be. Like if he was, what he was going to say about the club. He's obviously still playing for Fulham, so there's only so much he can say, really.
Yes.
But the one takeaway, which I won't ruin too much, is that when we mentioned the Man United moment, of which he's at the centre of it because the ball hits his hand. Yeah. He clearly looks pained. Yes. When that happens. Yeah. So that was just an insight into how much that moment mattered to people in the team as much as us outside of it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Should we give it a listen?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Here's Willian.
Willian, such a pleasure to have you, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you guys. Thank you so much.
Mate, it was so symbolic when Fulham signed you, because for people like me and Ivan and people who've been in the club for a long time, have watched the club in the lowest divisions, all different things, to cite a name like you, someone who's played for Brazil 70 times, is a very, very, very rare thing. What's been very beautiful this year is watching how you clicked with that midfield. Like, did Fulham feel like a small club? And secondly, is it rare that a team just suddenly just clicks into place like that?
Yeah, it has been amazing for me to play for this club and to be back in Premier League. After I spent 1 year in Brazil, to be back here, has been great. And this club it's a special club, and from the first day that I came here, I had a feeling that I can, help the team. I can do the things that maybe some people they didn't expect, because after Arsenal and then Brazil and then come back here, maybe they expect that he came just to relax, just to
relax,
to chill, and I'm proud of that I play better and better, and it has been good.
That's so interesting you say that. Did it feel like you had a point to prove? Coming back to
in football sometimes you have to do it, but I always in my mind was that I have to prove to myself only, and to my teammates and to this club Yeah, and but until you don't finish your career, you still have to prove it. Always training in every game, every single week. So yeah, has been like that.
There's been a lot of joy, haven't there, watching those you three, especially you, Bobby, Andreas, just you three, the way that you like interact with whoever it is at the top, and then Polina and Reed. There's like a lot of expression and joy, and I don't think we've rarely seen a Fulham midfield that play like that, have we?
Yeah, we don't really.
It's another universe completely.
It's fantastic.
Did it feel like that immediately when you played with those two? Like, oh, there's a telepathy. Like we understand each other.
Yeah, when you arrive to a new club, it takes times to see and to know more the other players, and but for me it has been like I've been here like maybe 2-3 years already. I don't
really
know. Yeah, like I have the connection with the other players, so inside the pitch. So yeah, I think we can improve a little bit more, always in life, in football, and but yeah, we have this connection inside the pitch, so has been amazing.
What is it that do you think brings that connection? Is that down to the environment, the manager? Is it that instant spark, that feeling that you're like, I've not just been here for under a season, I've been here for a few years?
I think every day in training, so every morning, every session here, you can see more. You can know more the other player, the teammates, and it can be easy when you go to a game and play. So you have contact eyes to eyes. Sometimes you don't need to see the player. He's already there, and you just pick the ball and just pass the ball. So yeah, it's like that.
That is so beautiful to hear.
It really is. And go on.
I was just going to say, do you have like a sense of, obviously you've done it all, man. You won the Prem twice, like won so many tournaments. Do you have a sense like in your bones of what this team can achieve? Is it ever spoken about like, we want to finish here, we want to win something? Do you have a feeling that it can achieve something big? Or is that a loaded question because you're obviously going to say yes, but you see what I'm saying?
I think yes. The way we are playing, the way we work every day, and I think we can do something special. We already did. I know that this club, when we play against Chelsea, a long time ago, I think Fulham, never was always lose against Chelsea.
16 years, mate. 16 years. 16 years, long years.
Yeah. This year we won and we draw. So yeah, it's against Chelsea. It's a big club, and so I think in football you always can improve yourself, and I think this club with this team we can of course do a little bit. That some people didn't expect. We can finish at the top, top 10, or go to Europa League or something like that. Something like that, So yeah, we can do that.
I'm glad that you brought up the Chelsea game because the interesting thing from my perspective was that obviously you played for Chelsea. So when we won that game, you're trying to be respectful and tone it down. Whereas on the other side of the table, Ivan does the match announcing.
Yeah.
And I've never heard anyone be more overexcited down a mic.
It's been a long time.
Calling it at that time.
Oh.
So your two responses to that result were like different.
I was almost in tears. I was. Yeah,
it sounded like it.
16 years of it all coming out.
Yeah, meanwhile, Willian's like, no. Trying to keep it cool. Because your daughters support Chelsea, right?
Yeah, my family, yeah.
So you must have been quite torn by these fixtures.
The day before the game, I said to them, tomorrow Daddy is gonna play against Chelsea. So they said, really? I said, yes. Who are you going to support? They said we're going to support Chelsea.
Oh,
do you know what? I blame the parents. If I'm honest, mate, I blame the parents.
I say no, but
how old are they?
11 years old.
Okay. And you trying to convince them? No.
No, you have to support Daddy.
Yeah.
That, we love Chelsea. We support you. You can play good. You can score. But we support Chelsea. Sorry.
I'm just thinking, what can we offer? What can Fulham offer them to try and bring them to the good side? To bring them to Fulham.
Are they slowly coming there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get them. We got them the kit and everything. I hope
They like it. They like the stadium. They like everything there.
Currently, there's a strong chance Fulham finish above Chelsea this season. I'm just saying it. In which case, come on.
Do you speak about that? Do you think, we've got to finish above Chelsea? Is it because it's a topic of conversation in the stands, obviously, because that would be extremely rare. I don't know I can't remember when we finished above Chelsea in my lifetime.
I don't think we've. Not in our life. I don't think we've ever finished above. Looking behind the cameras, all shaking their head.
For this club, for sure, to finish above Chelsea. To finish that in a position, in a good position. So of course we want it. So
can you say to your daughters, maybe if we finish there?
Can we now call you Fulham fans?
Yeah.
You
Got to play long game as a parent. Talking about Chelsea, it's like, well, everyone knows that you really love London. That must have played into it, right? When Fulham came knocking, that because you know the area very well, you know Chelsea. Did it feel like sort of coming home, basically?
Yeah. So, as I said before, here is a place that we love, me and my family.
Yeah.
And London is a home. It's a home for us, a special city. To play for this club, to live in London, has been good for me and for my family as well. So, I think to be here in Premier League, the best league in the world, compete every weekend, play at a high level.
Yeah.
So it's amazing for me.
Do you find as well that coming back to London, you're going to your similar jaunts and stuff? Have you moved back to when you play for Chelsea? Is it similar area you've moved back to? Similar neighbours? You're like, it's the neighbourhood. There's the pub. There's the restaurant that I like. Do you know what I mean? There's the gym. Have you kind of redone that? Your old Chelsea teammates as well. They're still neighbours. That sort of stuff.
Yeah, this is the area that me and my family, we love. So,
can I ask, Cobham? Have you gone Cobham, or are you closer into London?
No. Cobham, it's not for me.
Good. All right, I like that.
No, I can't live in Cobham. No, I live more.
What is it?
Central.
What is it about Cobham?
Because
what do you hate about Cobham?
I like to see people. Like to go around, to go to take some coffee and to go around. To go for dinner, have a lunch as well. And if you live in Cobham, it's far.
Yeah, man.
So
you get energy from being around people.
Yeah, I prefer to live in central, central London.
Oh, you dead centre?
Yeah, I live in Chelsea. Chelsea Harbour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, near there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did you, when you then moved over to Arsenal, did you stay similar area?
No, I had to move up there in Hampstead.
Okay.
So yeah.
And how did you find that part of London? Getting too quiet?
No good for me.
God, you really do like the bustle.
That's a little bit far.
Oh, right, yeah. That time at Arsenal, like, how do you reflect on that now?
That was a difficult time.
Because you have a year, one season, right?
Yeah. One year. I signed it for 3 years. I spent just one year there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a difficult year for me there, and I was in the middle of the transition. Like players come in, the other players come out.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the club always new people come and the other ones go. So it was in the middle of this, and I struggled a little bit. But after I decided to leave because I didn't feel like I didn't get pleasure to go. I didn't feel happy. So it was difficult.
That's an interesting thing that's telling about your character, I think. That's one of the things that I get watching you at Fulham is just that like natural joy from playing football. And it sort of feeds back into at Arsenal that you probably, and a lot of players in your situation, could have gone, I'm going to stay here for 5 years, make loads of money, Do you know what I mean? And then we're sweet. Did that sort of play into your thinking? Or you think, I just need to play football and be happy?
Yeah, a lot of people said that to me.
Yeah, really?
Are you crazy?
Yeah, I could
Are you
imagine.
crazy? You're going to leave this money?
Yeah.
But I think money is not the first thing, So you have to, to be happy where you are, to get pleasure every day, to wake up in the morning and say, I go to training, smile on the face. So, but a lot of people, even people from my family, people close to me said, you crazy, you're going to leave this money there?
I can imagine your agent as well probably wasn't too happy.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? But I think that's...
But you knew that you had to do it.
Yeah.
And it is an incredible thing to hear, and it speaks volumes about your character that you can just go, right, you just don't... It just doesn't happen.
You don't hear it, do you? No, you never hear it. Yeah.
And it's really commendable. And then you obviously had this big homecoming back to Brazil, and again it didn't quite click. Talk us through a little bit, if you don't mind, what happened in Brazil for you. Why that didn't quite work, and obviously benefited us. You're back here. You're playing incredible football, and you're making this team click.
Brazil was. I was excited to at that time to come back to Brazil to play for Corinthians. I don't want to go again into the details that everyone knows what happened there.
Yeah.
And I just decided to come back because with my family, so we was missing London, a lot. And my family wants to come back to England or to Europe, So I think it was that.
Had you decided you wanted to come back prior to interest from Fulham?
No, I didn't.
Or was it Fulham that was that? Right? Yeah, we're going back.
I didn't have any, any offer from any club.
Really?
Oh, so it was a decision.
I just decided to
broke
the contract and to leave, to come back to stay here, and then here decide which club that I.
What, and you were getting in touch with people, or Marco knew you were in London, or what happened?
No, my agent.
Right.
Kia Jurabishan, so he lives here in London. I think you guys know that. So I came here to have some meetings with him, and when I arrived here, he said to me, "So Marco want to speak with you," and then start the conversation.
Beautiful. For me, it's like a very romantic thing, because those sliding doors moments that lead you to Fulham, and we like to think about Fulham as like a family club, a welcoming club. Most of the players that play for Fulham stay in touch with the club in some way. So it's like a really beautiful synergy that you've come back, and Fulham are the best we've ever been, really. And you're like guiding that. There's like a sense that it's meant to be. But you're also part of a cult classic team that played against Fulham in that Shakhtar Donetsk team.
Long time ago.
A long time ago, before you played for Chelsea or anything, right?
2009, I think.
Because we always talk about, that's probably the best Fulham team other than one you're in. That Roy team was like a team very close to our heart. And all of those players from that team say that Shakhtar team was the best team we ever played against. Like
they said that?
Everybody says
Really?
they were on another level, and because Bobby Zamora scored an amazing goal.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
think. But all the players said that they were just on another planet to us. That was a really talented team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We had a great team there. Fernandinho was there.
Yeah.
Douglas Costa. A lot of Brazilian players.
Yeah.
So we had a great team and a quality team as well. I remember this game.
Do you remember coming to the cottage?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you thinking? Do you remember thinking how did it feel? Was it the first time there? Did it feel quaint?
Amazing. The atmosphere, So the stadium, quite small, and but the pitch is amazing. So it was a good feeling.
Intimidating atmosphere, would you say?
Oh, no.
At that point, we were just, on another planet, weren't we? Just
the
European run, so new to our club. And I just remember with every European game, the atmosphere just stepped up more and more, got more and more electric.
Yeah.
How did it feel? Was it quite intimidating? Because it is quite a close ground. Did it feel quite intimidating?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I want to play in England now.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like a different feeling.
Yeah.
Never had before.
Really?
That was
Like
at playing at Craven Cottage. That was when you decided.
very close to the pitch, you
Yeah.
know. Like, sorry.
It was when you played at Craven Cottage, when you played Fulham. That's when you decided I want to play in England.
Yeah. And then after that, we play, I think, against Arsenal,
Right, yeah,
Champions
yeah.
League.
Yeah. Next year.
And then against Chelsea as well.
And you think, I want to be in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
This is the place.
I'm mindful you got to be going to training quite soon, but before you go, like, it would be remiss if we didn't mention Man United.
The elephant in the room.
Man, I honestly, mate, honestly, my heart broke into 150 million shattered pieces. I remembered what it was like being a 6-year-old and being heartbroken from football. Like, it felt like that happened to all of you as well. Like, do you still?
We at that point we were, as far as we're concerned, we were in the semi-final of the FA Cup. We were playing incredibly. We were by far the better team.
Yeah.
And we were 16 minutes from the semi-final. It talks through a little bit about like kind of it's what. Firstly, how are you feeling now? A bit of time's passed.
Still, still frustrating because we.
My heart's breaking thinking about it.
It was very close to play at Wembley.
Yeah.
Wembley in the same final, and we were a better team.
Yeah.
By far.
By far.
It was like play amazing, and football is crazy because in one moment things change quickly.
Yeah.
So the moment that was like a counter-attack, So and then Sancho dribble Bern, and I sprint to the line of the goal.
I'm seeing it as you say it.
He shoot the ball. I didn't want to put my hand. I just want to try to put maybe my belly or I don't know, to jump like this, and then the ball comes here. So
it was a total instinctual. It wasn't a deliberate handball.
Yeah. It wasn't. So even so that after I say, okay, maybe it's a penalty, but
not a red.
Yellow. No red card.
Yeah.
Yellow card. It's okay because I didn't. Move
Yeah.
my arms like
obvious.
this.
Yeah.
That's
So okay, yellow card. Okay.
Yeah.
And then red card comes. So.
The first of many.
And then, and then Mitrovic.
Okay.
And then Marco. It's one where we've always been known as a lovely, friendly family club, and suddenly we became the bad boys of.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you raised that point because this is the one. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but when we reflected on this, a couple of weeks after getting over the pain, we were like thinking, oh, maybe this is going to be a good thing for this team because. Fulham, the history of Fulham has been, we go to places like that, we accept that we're not the better side. If we get beat, fair enough, we will go home. But it felt like, in a way, there was a pride of being part of seeing a Fulham team that weren't going to accept being second best at a place like Manchester United. And I just wonder whether going into next year, that gives you guys a sort of focus or galvanises you, like gives you a fire because... If you'd finish 7th or whatever, everyone goes, that's the greatest Fulham team ever. And then where do you go from there? But now there's a kind of story and a sort of justice, you know what I mean, to get back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I think this club, I said it many times to my friends and family, this club has a potential to be a great club, and I think every year, this club can be, can fight to something special. And Marco Silva has been brilliant this season. I think last season as well. You guys can say that. For me, one of the best manager that I work, in my whole career. And has been great to work with him.
Yeah. And you feel like this team can get better then next year as well.
Of course.
Because that's the one thing you messaged me to say. It's cool. We'll win it next year. That's the only thing that made me feel better when you messaged that.
Well, it just made me think, like when collections of people things happen. Like there's always has like a long-term positive effect. It might get people together, but I don't want to. That's we'll see what happens. Yeah.
You got a bit of history as well in food as well. I know that you had a restaurant in London, and we know for a fact there's a lot of foodies in this Fulham squad. Mitrovic, he talks a lot about food, is obsessed with food. Cabano, I mean, I've had a number of chats with Cabano and interviews, and he seems to openly, freely talk for hours about food and where he's going to take other players, sort of introduce them to certain cuisines. Is it something you'd ever be interested in getting back into?
Because you owned a restaurant.
I had it before. I don't have it now anymore. I don't have it anymore, but I had it before. Italian restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it something you'd ever want to get back into, maybe with some of the Fulham squad?
If Mitro says to you, I want to build a Serbian restaurant with you, what do you say? Let's do this.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, that's maybe. He's not sure, mate. He's not sure. Have you tried any of the Serbian cuisine?
No, never.
He's not tried to give it to you. I swear he's trying to give it to everyone as well.
No, never tried it.
Really?
No. But I love food as well. I love sushi.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is there a sushi place near Fulham that you go to?
No, I go more to Mayfair.
Right.
Like Novikov. This kind of Zuma. It's a good one. So, nice. But I love sushi.
And Marco, isn't he? He's big on food as well. Have you had any conversations with Marco at all about his love of mainly Portuguese cuisine?
No, I never had that conversation with him. But I know we have a lot of people that they love food inside the squad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's good. In a way, it's pleasing to hear that you guys aren't,
talking about food.
Talking about food, and you're just focused on the football.
Yeah.
Because if it were me, I'd just be talking about food all day. And
we have had Fulham teams in the past that do seem like they're focused on the food.
Really?
So let's that's the best way round. True, man. You can't lie.
Yeah, I'm thinking
of
some of the.
It's better to talk more about football than food. Yeah,
exactly.
It's better. Yeah,
mate, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, man. And talk on behalf of all Fulham fans. Having someone like you playing so well at Fulham is like a truly beautiful, once in a lifetime thing, man. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
I love that. Great, wasn't it? And one of the things that was really interesting, actually, is he's such a part, because that Shakhtar team that came Europa League side, everyone that knows anything about football at Fulham will always say to you, that was the best team that we played against. Yeah. Everyone, don't they? Zoltan says it to us in one that you'll hear in a few weeks' time, and everyone associated with the club.
Yeah.
So the fact that Willian was part of that team and then was looking around and thinking, it's kind of beautiful.
Yeah. It was like we were the reason that he wanted to come over.
So, the return of Roy Hodgson
next
at the Cottage. That's nice because, firstly, we should say that Roy was top of our list of people to get on the Fulham fix.
Yeah, we've got a dream list, haven't we? Of Berbatov was on there. There's a few big names. Slav's on there.
Yes, Slavisa, of course.
And Roy Hodgson was there.
And he was going to do it. I think he was interested in doing it. In the off season, we were going to chat to him, but he's since taken the Palace job, so that means that obviously this conversation will be postponed for a second. But nonetheless, it'll be nice to see Roy, because one of the most beautiful moments for an opposition manager I've ever seen at the Cottage is when he returned after the Europa League run. I don't know, did he come back as Liverpool manager? Because I'm not even sure that he did.
I think it was West Brom.
Yeah, because he'd come. Then he obviously Liverpool didn't work out after Europa League, and then he went to West Brom, and then when he came back here, the whole place stood for him.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that is such a beautiful thing. I'm really proud to be a Fulham fan. That
one of the highlights of my season has been being able to chat to him and give him the Forever Fulham Award. That was beautiful. Honestly, one of those moments where I was praying for it to come up, and he's obviously been at the Cottage a couple of times now this season. One because of George Cohen and paying his respects to the Fulham legend, and then to come back again for the Forever Fulham Award. And I remember saying his name and the place just erupting. It's just, the guy's awesome. And I'm praying that he doesn't get offered he's playing, really well at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And you've seen their shot stats. They're scary.
Oh, really, are
every
they?
game's about 30 shots.
It's interesting, isn't it?
You know, when bear in mind they hadn't scored before he came in. They hadn't scored since Christmas, I don't think, or since the turn of the year. So I think I'm praying that he doesn't get offered a new contract, so that one of the first names we can get on the podcast next season will be Roy.
That'd be amazing. Do you know what, classically Roy, though, when he won his first game back for Palace, the first thing he said was, I can't take all the credit for that. Patrick Vieira's done a lot of work there, and that's kind of part of that work. So, and that's just so classically Roy, isn't it? To say something like that and to have that perspective.
Roy, do you think if we ask him nicely, he'll adopt the pair of us?
I actually, I did meet him for the first time this season at the Cottage.
You've already asked him, haven't you?
Well, I was with tail enders with Jimmy Anderson, cricketer, and Roy went up to Jimmy because he likes cricket, and so Jimmy in turn knew that it would be important for me to meet Roy at that moment. So he introduced me to Roy, and I don't remember this because all I remember is a civilized, nice conversation where we just had a nice chat, and that was it.
Yeah.
Apparently, I wouldn't let go of his hand.
How long were you
and we were shaking hands for like, and then when Greg and Jimmy said to me, do you realise that you were holding onto his hand?
Then it become holding hands.
What came to my attention, like, oh yeah, there was, as I'm recollecting it, the whole conversation, I'm still just shaking his hand up and down.
35-minute chat.
Yeah, and weirdly, I don't think it was awkward. I think Roy was just given, well, but maybe I want to believe it wasn't
think
awkward.
that Roy's probably used to the fact that when he meets Fulham fans, he knows he's not getting his hand back for a while.
Yeah, it's the kind of...
They don't want to let go of that man.
It's the kind of thing like a real, like, a musician that's meant a lot to people's lives, but I can imagine he has a lot of people come up to him saying, thank you.
Yeah.
Especially Fulham fans for the Europa League time, you know.
And he's local as well. I think he lives quite close by.
Right, yeah. And that's kind of all I was trying to say to him, thank you.
Yeah. And how long did it take? How long did it take that thank you?
Yeah, I mean, too long.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's beautiful though, man. That's beautiful. So there we go. Ironically, I'm going to say ironically, our next guest is one of Roy's favourite players. He's taken him to 2 clubs. So the one and only.
First signing properly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to announce it, then wasn't I?
Well, no, you don't have to. We
can't do it again.
But the one and only
Zoltan Gira. And I can tell you what a legend Zoltan Gira is at this club. People have named cats after him.
Yeah.
Not least Jeff, who's behind the camera.
Jeff Bruce, yeah.
Zolly, you called your cat, Jeff?
Yeah.
And I would be surprised if there aren't Fulham fan babies born around that time who didn't call their kid Zoltan.
Yep. Yeah. Didn't he say to us when again, this was an off-camera chat, but didn't he say that he had met someone whose kid had been called Zoltan?
I think he did mention that.
Yeah, and it made me realise what a strong name Zoltan is.
I don't mind Zoltan as a name. Yeah,
no,
I think
Well, I've got 2 girls both named, and I'm not that I know of that. Maybe not having another kid. Who knows? If you have kids, can you put it on the line here? You have a boy. Can we get a Zoltan from you? A Zoltan White.
I don't mind Zoltan as a name.
That's strong, isn't it?
Anyway, let's get into that next week, shall we?
Yeah, we'll save that for next week. Okay.
Come on, Fulham.